Good morning, good morning. Whoa, that's tall. There we go. Rocking and rolling in the shop today. I've got this Mustang Cobra. We put ceramic coating incorporated mobile on. We've got a Genesis that we're doing a paint correction on. We've got an older Monte Carlo that we're putting ceramic coating ink on. We're gonna get it prepped out today. And we've got 3 cars here out for window tint, so it's going to be a rocking and rolling week. I want to talk about profit margins. This is one of my favorite subjects. This is really one of the most important subjects that you can talk about as a business owner, but these videos get the least amount of views, engagements, likes, comments, all that stuff, because it's not exciting, but it's your lifeblood. This is the difference between success and failure for a business, is profit margins. What are you actually, good morning, good morning. What are you actually making off of your business? Like, what's actually going into your pocket? Because gross sales is a very deceptive number. As I put in the comments, that in 2015, 16-ish, Sears did $36 billion in sales, and then they started filing for bankruptcy because they were losing money hand over fist despite doing billions in dollars in sales. So really, whenever detailers, companies in general talk about, oh, I did X amount in sales last year, it's an irrelevant number. It's an irrelevant number because I've known detailers that were doing $500,000 plus in sales that ended up going out of business because their overhead was too high, they had no profit margins, and they were losing money day after day after day. They were bringing it in, but it was going out faster. So in your business, if you don't have a profit margin that actually makes sense, where you're actually bringing in X amount of money, and let's not even talk about that if you're a sole proprietor, if you're an LLC, etc., that's all seen as personal income. All of your profit margins are seen as personal income. So if you do 200,000 in sales and you have a $100,000 profit margin from that, you're getting taxed on that $100,000. So that's anywhere from, depending on your deductions and all that stuff, that's anywhere from 20 to 35% that goes straight out the door to the tax man. So that whole gross sales number, my company did X amount of hundreds of thousands or whatever in sales, it can be very, very deceptive. Very, very deceptive. And one of the things that I've always focused on, really focused on, is margins, because I'm not out here working my tail off from 6 a.m. till 5 p.m. most days so that I can come out here and make $22 an hour. After it's all said and done, after all the taxes, all the expenses and all that, I'm not coming out here so that I can do that, because to be very honest, I could go to General Tire, which is a factory that's about 30 minutes north of me, and I could make $25 an hour and have a whole lot less stress, a whole lot less pressure, dedicated time off, 401k matching and all that stuff. So if I'm not hitting a profit margin that makes sense, where I'm actually making money that is more than what I can make doing a traditional job, there's no point in doing all this. And a lot of people, they don't want to look at these numbers. They don't want to look at the numbers, because once they boil it all down, and Shopcat's just doing crazy today. Once they boil it all down, there was a detailer near me, really great guy. I liked him. We were competitors, but we were also friends. We talked about shop. We helped each other out any way we could. And he actually moved out of state because, and I'll tell you the story real quick. He called me up one day and he said, well, I'm moving. What do you mean? You're booked like a month in advance. Your pictures look great. Everything seems to be rocking and rolling. He said, well, after everything is said and done, all the time that I spend on my details, and he was one of those, I'm going to spend 2 days on a $400 detail type of guy. And that was his choice. It was his decision. We talked about it before. He said, after it's all said and done, I'm averaging $13 an hour that I'm actually putting in my pocket. He's like, I'm moving out of state, getting a different job. He said, this is not worth it. There's not all the stress. Hey, good morning, Michael. I can't handle all the stress. I can't handle all the pressure. It's tough on my body, and I'm making $13 an hour. He also said, you're getting 90% of the work, and I'm just getting the leftovers, but that wasn't his primary reason for leaving. He was still busy. He still had a full schedule. It's because he was making no profit margin. He was making no profit margin, and he was losing money hand over fist. When I first started like the Detail Mentor website and did the trainings on there, that was, 6 years ago that first all initially launched. $50 to $75 an hour billable was pretty decent. Like you could make a decent living at that. Nowadays, if you're not billing $100 an hour, after everything's said and done, especially if you have employees, you're going to be in a rough spot because it's all going to add up. Everything's going to add, all your expenses add up. And if you're not making that $100 an hour mark, you're going to be in a rough spot. So if you have to take something from this, I always want to leave something instructional. Sit down, write out all your expenses. I mean, all of them, including self-income taxes and all that other stuff. Write down what your average revenues are. There's a simple equation, simple accounting equation for calculating profit margins, and find out what your margins are. And if your margins are crappy, something has to change. Something has to change. Yeah, and that's that's an important point that Michael made, is that a lot of guys, if they're struggling to make money, they think, oh, I'm just going to bring in more volume. And they're not making money with what they're doing now, so they respond to that by bringing in more volume. And they end up burning themselves out, burning their employees out, or the quality of the work goes down. I'm a true believer that if someone calls my shop and they're willing to pay what we charge for the services we provide, we're going to put them on the schedule. I don't care if it's interior detailing, exterior detailing, coatings, window tint, whatever. But I'm not going to make less money on a detail package than I make on a coating. So if they're willing to pay what we need to make our profit margins, and we'll get them on the schedule. I don't discriminate work as long as it pays the same. We'll get them on the schedule, we'll take care of it. But a lot of people are also fearful that if they ask for more money, that their customers will all flee and they'll all go to their competitors and no one wants to pay the money I offer, and it's not true. It's not true. This year, one of the things that I did in my shop was that I said, unless you're a currently existing customer, if you want to detail, we need to see the vehicle. We need to do an in-person inspection, no phone quotes, no email quotes. I don't really care about the pictures. I need to see the vehicle, and because I wanted to meet people and have an actual relationship with them and get a feel for them, body language, all that stuff before we put them on the schedule. Our average ticket price this year is up 170%. 170%. Our average ticket, our invoice from Urable that I print out, I looked it up in my Square. I went through all my numbers. It's up 170% compared to last year. And have I had people say, "Oh no, I'm not bringing my car in just so you can look at it"? Okay, then they weren't serious about the work, and the likelihood that they were going to have us do some serious high quality detail work on that car, it's zero. They weren't going to have it done. So if they don't want to come in for an inspection, if they don't want to come in for just 5 minutes of us looking at the vehicle, we're not the right shop. Go to a shop that will just quote you and take it for better or worse, but I'm not doing it. I'm not flushing my profit margins down the toilet just to make someone happy. And those type of people that are looking for the best deal are usually the worst customers, because they're looking for the cheapest price, because the cheapest price is very expensive to them. I would rather have people come in here that say, well, I don't really care about the price, I want a quality job done. That's how we're building our business. That's how we're growing. That's why I've got, like, my wife says that outside the shop here has started to look like a used car lot, because we're having anywhere from 10 to 20 cars a week rolling in and out for coatings, tint, detailing, etc. I mean, it's just absolutely rocking. But you have to keep an eye on the margins. None of this matters if you're not making money. All right, I'm going to get off of here. You all have a great day. Polish and coat some more cars. See you all soon.